Then I'm going to call Alison Hume.
Thank you, Mr. Pritchard. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and I thank my honourable friend from Yorkshire for introducing this really important debate. I stand here today to speak in support of both the petitions presented before us, both of which have attracted significant backing in my own constituency of Dewsbury and Batley. Over 200 constituents have signed a petition calling for a reduction in the maximum noise level of fireworks, and over 230 have signed a petition seeking to limit their sale to local authority-approved events. Those numbers and the popularity of this debate reflect a genuine and deeply felt concern about the troubling effects that fireworks can have in our communities. I've also had over 100 individual emails since I was elected in July 2024, and Paula, one of my constituents, wrote to me and said they are a constant, nearly every night, getting louder and are being let off at all hours. They're not only antisocial, but they are harming my dog. And these are stories that are across our nation. So I will give way.
And for the last 12 years, she's 12 now, it seems that it's getting worse and worse every year when it comes to your personal pets. It seems to me that's why the reduction in the decibels would be the most effective way of dealing with this, because then people could let fireworks off essentially when they want, where they want, as long as the sound was down. Does the honourable gentleman agree?
His intervention, I completely agree that the biggest harm for pets, for animals and for children and veterans, as we've heard, is from the loud noises that and they are going off at any time of the day. I don't know how it is across the country, but I have people in my constituency setting off fireworks during daylight hours. What is the point of that? So they're not just a joyous moment of celebration, but now have become a source of fear, distress and disruption. The harm caused by fireworks is well evidenced and widely documented. Sudden, unpredictable explosions cause severe distress to animals, triggering panic responses and long-term behavioural trauma.
Will my colleague give way?
I will give way.
I'd like to thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the honourable colleague for giving way, and he's making very good points in his speech today. My wife's guide dog, Pepsi, just like to say, Jenny actually is not bothered by fireworks. She actually seems to enjoy them. But my wife's dog, Pepsi, is actually terrified of them. And it's not only awful for the dog. What it means is that at that time of fireworks, my wife can't go out and socialise and equally do her business as a local councillor in Torbay. But I wonder if my colleague would reflect on the idea of firework-free zones, because I also have the pleasure of having Paignton Zoo in my constituency of Torbay, and the impact on zoos is massive.
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention, and I completely support his call for firework-free zones. I have in my constituency both urban, industrial and rural areas, and there are places where fireworks are not appropriate. They will cause more harm in certain areas, and I completely support my honourable friend's call for firework-free zones. I will give way.
Being very generous with his interventions, thank you very much, and making a passionate about fireworks. Like the honourable member, I've had many constituents get in touch with me about the havoc that's been created for months and months, not just at bonfire night but around the year by fireworks. And they're in Glasgow asking Glasgow City Council to take more action and put on public displays so that people can go and enjoy the fireworks and it's not disrupting neighbours and communities. Does he agree that that's a sensible thing to do? And will he also recognise that it's often local community councils, like in my case, Pollokshaws and Eastwood Community Council, who bring to the fore the issues that firework-related disorder is causing?
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention, and I do agree that council-approved, community-organised events bring people together. Whoever is going, they know what they're going to. Any pets that will be affected can be then kept away from that area for that period. The timing of these displays is also critical. So there should be a watershed, a time limit where fireworks should not be allowed beyond a certain time in the day. And I fully support his acknowledgement of the role of councils in helping communities enjoy fireworks in a responsible and less damaging way. We've also heard fireworks can be equally distressing for people, including veterans with PTSD, autistic and neurodivergent individuals, young children and the elderly. For these people, loud, unexpected noise can provoke severe anxiety. Worse still are the routinely reported cases of emergency workers being attacked with fireworks. These impacts are not confined to a single night, but are repeated over weeks and months, creating prolonged periods of stress. The harms that emerge from fireworks are not hypothetical, but recurring, predictable, and preventable. These petitions do not call for some totalitarian overreach of the state in pushing for an outright ban. They recognise the cultural importance of fireworks in bringing communities together, but rightfully argue that public access in its current form is outdated and irresponsible. There was an incident in my constituency during the last bonfire, not night, but it's like weeks, where a firework rocket had been let off at the wrong angle and had pierced through the windscreen of a parked car. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but the rocket was lodged in the windscreen. Now, I don't know what his or her insurance company said about that, but that could have been a child or a human being or an animal, and the results would have been catastrophic. Other European countries have introduced more stringent restrictions, leading to fewer injuries and continued public support. Even within the UK, Scotland and Northern Ireland, have stricter regulations than England. Alternatives such as organised displays, quieter fireworks and modern light or drone shows that harness technological developments are increasingly popular and far less harmful. Responsible celebration should not come at the expense of animals, vulnerable individuals, or community well-being. I therefore urge the government to listen carefully to this recurring debate. It's the first debate I've taken part in. I wasn't able to take part in last year, but I've known from the research that this comes around every year, and it's really important that we do something about this. So the government, I urge them to listen carefully to the petitioners, to conscientious animal welfare experts, and to those that so diligently advocate for persons with disabilities, and to bring forward meaningful reform that strikes a better balance between collaboration. I was just finishing, but I will give way.
Thank you, honourable gentleman, for giving way. I completely agree with him and appreciate the hundreds of people in my own constituency who have signed these petitions. Does he agree with me when we talk about government action, it must include, if we're going to end up with a licence scheme, giving local authorities the money to be able to enforce these provisions? Because if not, we will all be going back to our constituencies, picking up the phone to our council chief execs, going, this is the law, why aren't you enforcing it?
Honourable friend for his intervention. I completely agree. Councils are overloaded, overburdened. They are asked to do more with less, and it's really important that any change in legislation that gives councils the authority and the powers to help with the situation is backed by finance and teeth. So to conclude, just to repeat, I hope the government will listen to the petitioners and bring forward reforms that strike a better balance between celebration and compassion. Thank you.
Alison Hume.